For the seventh day in a row, Kirby Smart and the Dogs add a massive commitment in the 2026 class. This time, it's elite defensive lineman James Johnson who chose the Dogs today over Florida and Miami. And this is massive for a lot of reasons. He's one of the top defensive line prospects and really one of the top defenders across the country in the 2026 class. He's not the biggest or the heaviest guy. He's about 6'3", 285, but I'm telling you right now, this guy is elite. He's the number 2 defensive line prospect in the country, one of the best overall players in Florida, and a massive, massive pickup. And listen, hand up, last week, 2 weeks ago, I did not think Georgia was going to land him. I knew that Georgia was always towards the top of his list. I even reported that back in the winter, back in the spring, that Georgia was in his top group. He even had a great official visit. I believe it was May 30th, right, in the beginning of the summer. But throughout the month of June, I stopped hearing that buzz between him and Georgia, mainly because he was taking other visits, right, other official visits. I thought Miami was the team to be for a while. I thought Florida might be in it. He was at Texas not too long ago. But today, time to make a commitment, and he chose the Dogs. So this one kind of went Georgia's way over the last few days. I don't know what the last minute NIL offer was or anything like that. I know he has always liked Trey Scott, the Georgia program, the development that they do. Coach Scott's resume speaks for itself. And today he said, you know what? I'm leaving the state of Florida and I'm going up to Athens, Georgia to play for the Dogs. And this is a guy that could be one of the biggest and most important guys in this class. He is explosive. He is quick. He's naturally powerful. And a guy that is a true game wrecker, right? He's not 330 pounds, he's not 340, but he lived in the backfield last year for his North Fort Myers team. He made 60 tackles, 19 tackles for a loss, and 5 sacks in just 9 games. But if you turn on the film, he is just blowing up plays left and right. He can win with strength. He can win with finesse. There's a lot to like about his game. And when you watch his clips that you can watch for free over on Dawg Post, he's just bullying guys. If he wants to use the bull rush, I mean, he's taking offensive linemen, throwing them backwards 5 yards, and at the end of the play, you turn around and dude's laying on his back, right? You can see the stars going around him like in Bugs Bunny. Dude's looking around like, what kind of truck just ran me over? And it's play after play after play. He makes it look easy. Again, he lived in the backfield, and he makes those jaw-dropping type of plays where you're like, wow, that's ridiculous. So a guy that Georgia fans should be really excited about. He can hold his own and take on double teams in the run game, free up linebackers to go make plays around him, and he can split the double team and attack the quarterback. So definitely a guy that Georgia wanted from the very beginning. And again, someone that I did not think Georgia was going to land for a little bit this month, right? I knew there was always a chance Georgia could land him, but wasn't hearing a ton of buzz. But earlier this week, I guess almost a full week ago, he said that he was making his announcement today. And right after that, we got a call saying, hey, Georgia's definitely the team to watch. Maybe they were the entire time, but I know that Florida thought they were in a really good position. I know Miami thought they were in a really good position. So listen, like the Jay Lamar recruitment, if you got a buddy who's a Miami fan and they were ragging on you about Jackson Cantwell and Vance Spafford, you're going to turn around and say, hey, this guy who plays at Northwestern High School, powerhouse program, he's turned around and said, no thanks, Miami. I'm going to go play at Georgia. So big deal. I know I said in another video that they might be holding those NIL resources for defensive line in the next recruiting cycle in 2027. They still could, but I do think that they did whatever needed to happen and did whatever it took to land James Johnson, who, again, is an elite interior defensive lineman. And you have to have those types of players if you want to win a national championship. You go back to the 2 years Georgia won it, right? I don't have to go over the names, but I will, right? You remember Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Trayvon Walker and Devontae Wyatt. Those guys were really, really good, and they didn't have those types of players last year. Ty Ingram Dawkins was a good player. Warren Brinson, he was a fine player. Nazir Stackhouse, fine player. And, this year they're going to need guys like Jordan Hall to step up with Kristen Miller, Jordan Thomas, Nasir Johnson, maybe some of those young guys, Elijah Griffin. right? As a freshman, we'll see how much he plays. He could be that game-changing type. I think he will be on the interior that can just wreck a team and make a big play in the backfield. One of those plays that can end a drive, right? 5-6 yards in the backfield. Elijah Griffin can absolutely do that. He was the #1 defensive line prospect in the 25 cycle. Now Trey Scott said, you know what, we're not taking a cycle off. We're going to go and get one of the very best in the country in James Johnson. And a kid that's not even from the state, did not really grow up pulling for the Dogs that I'm aware of, but was at Fort Myers. Now he's playing at Northwestern. Again, a powerhouse. I think he's going to have a massive senior season, but if you turn on the film, it is fun to watch. And again, you could read more about him and Georgia's massive week on the recruiting trail over on Dawg Post. But this is a guy that helps you win championships. There's no doubt about it. If you don't have a great defensive line, you're not winning anything. And Georgia's starting to stack those guys up. He is Georgia's 4th defensive line commitment. He joins 3-star Corey Howard that they got on Tuesday. Carter Lucky, the 4-star defensive lineman at a Norcross High School. He actually committed at the end of May, right before this massive month of June. And of course, Seven Cloud, the #1 overall JUCO prospect in the country, #1 JUCO defensive line prospect, a guy who originally committed to Georgia out of high school, out of McEachern. The staff stuck with them. So now they have 4 on the defensive line, 4 commitments, and they could be getting another one soon. So they're just adding guys left and right. He is their highest ranked commitment on defense that I'm aware of, depending on, there's a few outlets out there who have different rankings, but from what I've gathered, he is the #2 defensive line prospect, number 47 overall, okay? Top 50 player in the country. And from my understanding, he is the top ranked commitment that they have right now on defense. Massive, massive deal. And I do think he is one of the best and most important prospects in this class that they currently have committed. Really big deal. And again, he's got a frame that will allow him to add more muscle and weight, but he is explosive off the snap. He's got a great initial punch. Can fight off double teams, but if there's only one guard blocking him, or anyone on the offensive line for that matter, kind of no matter where he's lined up, they're in trouble because this guy is going to make them look silly. He's going to put them on their butt. He's going to go attack the quarterback. He's going to chase down the running back. Moves really well, again, for a guy 285. But the quickness and explosiveness and the raw strength and power that he has really stand out on film. And you got to tip your hat to Trey Scott, who is the best defensive line coach in college football. He is an ace on the recruiting trail. He develops his guys as well as anyone. His resume speaks for itself, and that's a big reason why James Johnson, one of the best overall defenders in the country, has chosen to play for Georgia, leaving the state of Florida, which a lot of people didn't think he would do earlier this month. But that official visit to Georgia earlier this summer was a really big deal, and just goes to show you it doesn't matter when these guys get on campus, right? Whether it's at the beginning of summer or right before they're supposed to make a commitment, it stands out. And these guys know that you come to Georgia, you have a chance to not only win championships, but hear your name called in the first round. And that's why they're getting a lot of these commitments. They're getting guys from Texas choosing Georgia over Texas. They're getting guys like James Johnson saying no thanks to Miami and all your NIL money. I think he chose less money to come to Georgia. A lot of players are doing that. I mean, it's routine right now. Georgia's not a team that's going to be the highest bidder for a lot of these guys. The way they recruit is that they sell development, and they sell the chance for you to make millions and millions of dollars at the NFL level. And they've proven it. They've got the track record to do so. And James Johnson, just the next guy who's saying, you know what? I'm going to probably leave money on the table and go play for the Dogs. So big time commitment. He is their 7th commitment in their last 7 days, like I said earlier. So one of the biggest weeks that the Dogs have ever had on the recruiting trail. I've been doing this for 11 years. This could be the biggest week they have ever had since I've been covering Georgia football and recruiting. And that says a lot. This is their 14th commitment in the month of June. And again, they may not be done. Just an all-time month for Kirby and the Dogs on the recruiting trail. They're going to add even more commitments in the month of July, but no doubt about it, this is a big one, and you can make the case this is the biggest one that they've had this week, the biggest one in the month of June, and this is a guy who could be a multi-year starter and a true game wrecker for the Dogs. You have to have these types of players, and they went out and the Trace got his guy again. He does it every single cycle, and he's got a chance to load up even more in an outstanding defensive line and edge class in 2027. So the rich get richer. The Dogs add the number 2 defensive line prospect in the country, James Johnson, choosing Georgia over Florida and Miami. Make sure you head over to Dawg Post to watch his highlights. You're going to love him, and read more about him for free over on the website. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you over on Dawg Post.